Hi, welcome to Surviving Motherhood. So, good news. I finished reading the book of Numbers. And that means I get to go to Deuteronomy next. And I really like Deuteronomy, so I'm looking forward to that. But the last two chapters of Numbers, which obviously is the last thing I read, covered the towns for the Levites. In other words, when they were dispersing all the land among everybody, God gave them instructions to say, all right, y'all need to give some towns to the Levites because they had no inheritance. And you'll need to read for yourself to understand all of that. But anyway, so they were dividing up the towns among the Levites. Then they were talking about cities of refuge where people could go if they accidentally killed somebody so that they could be safe until they went through trial and all that. And then there was the last chapter talking about, and I never know if I'm going to say this guy's name right, but Zelophehad's daughters. I just call him Z. Okay, Z's daughters. And how they were going to deal with some land that they all had. And so I read that and I'm all like, okay. And I closed my eyes to pray and I just kind of sat there. I'm like, God, what is it from these words that I've read today that you want me to hear? And he took me back to Z's daughters. See, several chapters before this, they had come to Moses because this guy Z only had daughters. So when it came time to dividing up the land among all of the Israelites, which typically would go to the sons, his family wouldn't get any because he had only daughters. So in answer to that question, God said, okay, fine, allot land to the daughters. That'll be great. Well, then, in what I was reading today, the Israelites were concerned because if the daughters were given land, then when they married somebody else, that land would go to that man and his tribe. And so then Z's tribe would lose out on land to whatever tribe these girls married into. So, big question, what are you going to do? In verse 5 of chapter 36 in Numbers, says, Then at the Lord's command, Moses gave this order to the Israelites. What the tribe of the descendants of Joseph is saying is right. This is what the Lord commands for Z's daughters. They may marry anyone they please as long as they marry within the tribal clan of their father. No inheritance in Israel is to pass from tribe to tribe, for every Israelite shall keep the tribal land inherited from his forefathers. Every daughter who inherits land in any Israelite tribe must marry someone in her father's tribal clan, so that every Israelite will possess the inheritance of his fathers. So there was the answer. Something that was quite a quandary to the Israelites, but God, he had it handled. And so I was thinking about that, and I thought, God, you've got an answer for everything, don't you? And it made me think of some other stuff I've been praying about recently and how I was kind of not seeing a way that it could work out, and then God would show me, yeah, it can happen this way. And it just made me, it reminded me, made me thankful again to my Father, because every question I have, he's got an answer. You know, when we're facing things, we don't know all of it. We don't see how it's going to end. But God does. He knows and he sees. And we can trust him. It's not easy, I know. But we can trust him. So I have a question for you today. Do you have questions? God has answers. Trust him. Believe him. And let him fight for you. Now have a wonderful, Jesus-full day.